Hello and welcome to the program. This is Investment Trains, brought to you courtesy of the Zambia Development Agency and ZNBC. The ZDA, a statutory body under the Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry, has embarked on the process of rebranding. The aim is for ZDA to reposition itself in the consistently changing operating environment and to align itself with the 7th National Development Plan. And so this week on the program, we feature ZDA Acting Director General, Mr. Mukula Makasa, to talk about the rebranding and the strategic focus for the agency. Sir, it's good to have you in the studio.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just kind of give us a brief background to ZDA, Zambia Development Agency.
Well, the Zambia Development Agency, as you may be aware, is a statutory body under the Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry, which was established in 2006 by the Act of Parliament number 11, ZDA, which actually essentially amalgamated 5 former statutory bodies, which included the Investment Center, the Zambia Privatization Agency, the Small Enterprise Development Board, the Export Processing Zones, and the Export Development Board of Zambia. So the idea was to bring these institutions under a one-stop shop concept, which would help facilitate business development support services to accelerate growth of the private sector. In 1991, as you may be aware, again, government put in place a market economy driven development agenda. And so government explored various options and ways of enhancing efficiency and efficacy in order to grow the economy exponentially. So that's the very reason why ZDA was put in place.
Beautiful. What has necessitated the rebranding for the agency?
Well, what has necessitated rebranding is to reposition the relevance of the agency and just to assure the marketplace and all our stakeholders and even our shareholders, the government itself, that we're in tandem with the aspirations of the establishment and the people of Zambia. Because you see, ideally, the government targets to grow the economy exponentially, meaning that we should achieve some significant growth rate. But in order to do that, there are various policy measures that have been put in place, such as the national vision, which is the Vision 2030, which seeks to transform our economy into a middle-income, prosperous, industrialized nation by 2030. What that means is we have to reduce the size of the informal sector, which is the biggest, you know. The informal sector is about 90% of our economy. So what it means is we need to reduce the size of the informal sector from 90 to approximately at least 50 by 2030. What that means is the number of people and even enterprises participating in economic development and growth needs to be broadened and deepened, meaning that the potential and capacity to create jobs and generate wealth needs to be expanded. And thus, it will reduce the burden even on individuals like yourself in terms of the tax burden that you're right now committed to. And so what that means is there will be inclusive growth and equity in national economic development.
Beautiful. 14 years in existence. The person would ask, why rebrand now?
Why rebrand now? We've been running with our current brand for 14 years. And as you may be aware, you know, every organization, let alone a product, has a life cycle. And so when you reach, a certain point within your growth curve, you need to sit down and reflect. Are we still radiating the same energy like we were 14 years ago? So we stopped and reflected, and we realized, I think we've slowed down. This brand is a bit stale, so we need to reinvigorate, and to start radiating some new energy. Because as you may be aware, right now we have the COVID-19 challenge, and we've had some economic slowdown, and so we had to sit down and reposition ourselves so that we can come back with some freshness and some new energy, some new levels of sophistication to kind of galvanize the private sector. Because you see, our role as an institution, as the primary or the premier economic development agency, is like that of a feedlot. A feedlot, like Zambif, operates feedlots. You know, they buy animals, fatten them, and then offload them on the market. Our role is to fatten the private sector and offload it on the market. And when we offload it on the market, it needs to produce quality beef, choice, steak, T-bone, so that the market will appreciate and grow. And in this particular case, the government has huge expectations of the private sector to create jobs and generate wealth, including the local currency and even foreign exchange, you know, by generating exports and so forth. And so that's the primary function of the agency, to promote trade and investment and to facilitate the growth and development of micro, small and medium enterprises, which also includes smallholder farmers and cooperatives. That's the whole structural transformation agenda of government, which it is implementing through the Zambia Development Agency.
Now let's look at the colors. The colors in this, the colors under the new ZDA brand. What do they represent?
Well, you've got basically three colors. We've got red, we've got black, and green. Green represents the freshness of our country and its resources. And then black symbolizes the authority, and the sophistication of the institution in discharging its functions. And then red represents the energy, the vigor in implementing this extremely important mandate of promoting trade and investment and fostering micro, small and medium enterprise development.
Of course, I'm looking at your colors and they're looking very good. I'm very much in love with what I'm seeing. Let's look at the tagline. What's the meaning behind it?
Well, our tagline is potential made possible.
Beautiful.
Here's the situation, the scenario. Again, I would maybe use the analogy of football. When Renard came to Zambia, he found a Zambia that had huge potential. I don't know how many times we had been in the finals of the AFCON. I think probably maybe 2 or 3 times. I think twice. We made 2 attempts and we failed. I think first in Egypt when we met Congo. I think that was probably 1974.
We got used to average.
Yes. And then I think in 1993, after the crash, we rose from the ashes like a noble eagle, and we nearly there. We lost to Nigeria. I think Yakini. We were heartbroken, and we kept on trying and trying and trying. And then in I think that was 2012. Yeah.
Yes.
We got there in the finals, but there was this guy called Renard.
In a white shirt like you, huh?
The white shirt like me, the miracle shirt. That's what I hear they call it. Yeah. So this guy assembled a team of young players with huge potential, but it's that final touch that he put to the team, which made the potential possible. So ZDA is like this enigmatic soccer manager who assembles a private sector of players with huge potential. But we add that extra touch of business development support, which we facilitate, and capacity building, facilitating all kinds of services, which now enables the private sector to score that penalty that enables our economy to win. That's what this story is all about. You see, this is about the structural transformation agenda of the economy.
Awesome.
We're saying we want to move the private sector from point A up to Z so that the economy wins. If the economy wins, even the social and the political agenda of the country will move, will flow, because everything hinges on the economy. If the economy succeeds, the entire metrics of different facets of the country will function. They'll be firing up in all the engines will be firing up. Yeah.
So through this rebranding process, how do you want ZDA to be known?
Well, would like to be known as that very significant institution in the business development agenda of each and every enterprise. We want to be that one-stop shop where each and every entrepreneur, when they want to do something that has to be associated with growth in making that quantum leap, they'll always remember ZDA.
Awesome.
All roads will lead to ZDA to actualize their potential. That's what this story is all about.
Let's look at how you are interpreting this current state of the economy, of course, posed by the COVID-19 outbreak. How is ZDA responding to this challenge?
Well, as you may be aware, I mean, COVID-19 has been very disruptive globally, regionally, and even nationally. It has disrupted supply chains and value chains. But what ZDA is saying is, ZDA is coming to block the disruption, to disrupt the disruption. That's what ZDA is trying to do, and that's the message we're sending out there. We're telling our people that, look, this is just the beginning. It's not the end. It's the beginning of a transformation. There's this statement everyone is using, the new normal. We're saying that we can arise, like we did in 1993 when the Chipolopolo crashed, and go all the way to the final. But instead of losing in the final to Nigeria, this time we're saying we have to win like we did in 2012 in Gabon. We have to win. That's where we crashed. I think that's where we crashed, isn't it? We crashed in Gabon, but we arose and went back and won in Gabon.
Went back and won. Extremely excited and inspired. Your words fire something in me that makes me feel like, wow, there's hope.
Plenty of it, actually.
There's a time when you feel like there isn't much going, and when you speak like that, coming from your position that you're holding, really inspires a lot of hope. And I know many of the entrepreneurs that are watching, I think it's talks like that, sentiments like the ones you're firing right now that just helps them look up to something, out for something. Now, what is your focus going forward as ZDA?
I think our focus, first and foremost, is going back to the basics, encouraging our people that, look, if you're dreaming big, come with your dreams to ZDA. We'll help you generate business ideas, to perfect those business ideas, and to transpose them on paper into real business plans that can become bankable, so that your potential is made possible to help you formulate a business model and run with that model so that it's incubated and accelerated into action. So we want you, the ZDA wants you to think big and to act big and to score big and to win big.
Beautiful. I like how you talk through your brand slogan.
Exactly.
Potential made possible. This is exactly what we're discussing here. ZDA has over the time produced great testimonies. I mean, I've interacted with individuals here, entrepreneurs here who are making it very big, and they're good testimony to what is coming out of ZDA. Just kindly edify someone out there who's probably thinking otherwise. The government has released enough funding towards the youths, and today a lot of them have ideas, but they just don't know how they can probably bring them to the fore so that they can be able to submit, because the deadlines will soon be approaching. And you know, it's one thing to have an idea, but it's another thing to have it on paper. What is your word to those youths who have something going, but they just don't know how they can pull it out?
Well, if you're a youth and you're based in Lusaka province, you could be based in Mukula province, you could be based in Muchinga, in northern, even in southern province, like in the Zambezi Valley. There's a big opportunity out there in aquaculture or fish farming. If you're ready to move, contact us at ZDA. We'll help you generate your business idea in fish farming and help you draft a business plan, which will be transformed into a bankable document and will be submitted to CEC. We'll hold you by the hand and take you to our sister organization or institution called CEC, where the grants are being dispersed from. Secondly, if you're a youth, you're based in Chingola, because KCM is down at the moment, it's not the end of the world. The government is working on something I don't want to go into the mining sector. I'm sure ZCCMIH and the Ministry of Mines are working on resuscitating that venture. But there's something big going on in Chingola as well. There's an investor called Copper Mining. They've set up a processing plant for cathodes, which will be manufactured into copper cables and will be offloaded on the domestic supply chains and even regional and global supply chains. But most importantly, if you've got a mining, even an artisanal mining license through ZDA, you'd be in a position to supply copper ore to Rudra Copper Mining. We will facilitate that for you. Don't give up, don't lose hope. Secondly, if you're still in Chingola and you had received land, I think the president...
They were just giving out a number of portions, actually.
Exactly, land. I think that was in 2016 or...
But it was actualized this
yes.
time. Yeah.
So if you've got a piece of land and you're in Chingola or even maybe in Kitwe or anywhere on the copper belt, you can start growing avocados because Rudra Copper Mining are setting up a processing plant for avocados to manufacture oil and possibly cosmetics. That's what I'm reliably informed. And so there's hope, even for small-scale farmers. We'll be moving into the copper belt to actually facilitate or foster, mobilize the smallholder farmers into cooperatives so that we can aggregate, there'll be economies of scale, and they'll be supplying these avocados to Rudra Copper Mining, who'll be processing the avocados into oil and cosmetics. That's an opportunity, that's a penalty, and we'll help you score that so that your potential is made possible from avocados and even from your small-scale artisanal mine.
Well, I've got a lot of faith in that white shirt now.
Yeah.
Too much faith in that white shirt. Well,
Yeah.
you know, Mr. Makasa, you've got a way that you've helped me appreciate what the benefits are in associating with your with ZDA, your agency. Sometimes, you know, I'd run into people that would say your agency existed for foreign enterprises, but not anymore. People have this confidence now as they continue to watch the program and also listen on radio as you inspire them with your talks and the guests that you bring. Knowledge is out there. Now they appreciate that you are actually there to aid them to score. I would like to get your last remarks.
Well, my last remarks is that, is there anything too hard for the Lord? No, there is none. I know there's a lot of desperation out there and anxiety, but I want to challenge you that, you know, Zambia is a Christian nation, and I want to encourage you to believe that God is there looking out for you. Just pick up your pieces, stand up, come to ZDA, follow us. We'll reason with you. We'll help you achieve your potential. We'll make sure that your potential is made possible. ZDA is there to create penalties for you and to give the goalkeeper a red card so that you score. We want to knock out the keeper out of there, and so that you score. If you score and you win, Zambia wins. Jobs will be created by you. Wealth will be generated by you. Your wealth is not yours alone, but it's for the country. Beautiful. If you win, everybody wins. Like in 2012 when the Chipolo Polo won. All
of us were happy.
We were all happy. It was, I think Sunzu is the one that scored the last penalty, isn't it?
Yes.
But we all celebrated. It was not.
It was like
it was not his goal. Yes, it was not his goal alone. You know.
Awesome.
So and if you win and if you score, we're gonna win bigly as a country. Those are my final words. And may God bless all of you as Zambians and the nation.
Beautiful. Thank you so very much for finding time to be here.
Thank you.
Well, this is what we had for you. It's time for you and I to actually win big by associating ourselves with a Zambia Development Agency, an agency that has been set up to ensure that small, medium enterprises and whatever you are into is assisted in ensuring that you grow capacity and that you win. And this is awesome. It's been awesome. I am inspired. Well, I've been your host, Hezron Ngosa. Join me next week with yet another inspiring and yet interesting program right here on Investment Trends.